I'm Apple Bottoms Up, joined on the mic with...
October Revolution.
All right. October, I will just be calling you Tober today.
That's my name. That's
know.
like actually my name, so it's cool. You can call me Tober all you want.
You can call me Apple.
Cool.
All right, featuring today Cherry City coming out of Spokane, Washington, and California Mayhem out of Merced, California.
I'm going to read to you the Cherry Bomb Brawlers roster. Number 007, Mad Max. Number 12, Mad Hatter. Number 13, Shifty. Number 14, Komakaze. Number 16, Tycho the Psycho. Number 18, Global Storming. Number 19, 74, Jaws of Death. Number 20, Critical Hit. Number 22, Skatey Katie. Number 244, Tribal Terror. Number 574, Poison Ivy. Number 6, Queen Bee. Number 666, Is He Dead? Number 717, Eminem. Number 74, Girlzilla. Number 989, Vicious Vanna. And number 15, Free King Wolf.
I'll just add the Cherry City is coached today by Jester, Kraken, Wiley Dolan. And I'll be introducing today California Mayhem Roller Derby in the black and orange. Killa K, number 7. Killa Willa, number 08. Maddie Hatter, number 106. Sacagakilya, number 1215. Relentless, number 13. Nacho Tape Boy, number 25. Mad Max, 280. Anaphylactic Shock, 323. Rosilla, number 329. Tornado, number 5. Diva Destroyer, number 5150. Widow, number 54. Queen Relentless, number 59. The A-Train, 911. And Kaylor Swift, number 18. Coached today by Conley Craft and Senior Rich. Thank you and welcome to your JRDA game. We're going to be getting started here in just a few seconds. Let us know how we're doing out there in the world. Hashtag Big O 2018 so that we can see what you guys think about our little feed here. Make sure you're enjoying yourselves out there in the interwebs.
California Mayhem is in the black and orange, and Cherry Bomb Brawlers is in the black and red.
Starting this jam, number 244, Tribal Terror, is out, and your lead jammer for the Cherry Bomb Brawlers, followed behind by number 280, Mad Max from Mayhem.
Oh, I know from yesterday that the Brawlers Mad Max also jammed, so we could theoretically have a Mad Max showdown.
Oh, geez.
I'm so excited about this possibility right now.
It's going to make me so confused.
They're speaking of on the jammer line right now for the Brawlers. That is Mad Max. On the line for the Mayhem, that is number 25, Nacho Tape Boy.
Oh, Nacho Tape Boy. I've been enjoying telling everyone to don't ask him to tape the track.
I was going to say, did somebody ask him to tape the track?
All right, Mad Max in the red. Colors are pretty close today, too. Looks like we're going to have a little discussion for a moment with our referees and officiating crews. We'll give a shout out to some of our refs. Mike Hammer, Tipsy Moo, Ringer, Dread, Hochuli. I'm sure I'll hear about that later. Whack Job, Kill a Key, and Doesn't Matter.
Looks like we have a little bit of a scoreboard issue in that the clock hasn't moved.
All right, well, this is what we call, friends, a technical difficulty. So we hope that you are enjoying our Big O tournament. We are featuring men's, juniors, women's, but you know, what we're really seeing is it's kind of everybody, and I don't really know if I'd even classify that, but they are WFTDA games, JRDA games, and WFTDA games. And if you want to watch the 2018 Continental Cup, you're going to have to check it out. That's going to be in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And the first year, the series will be also featured in Omaha, Nebraska, Birmingham, United Kingdom. You can find out more at WFTDA.com. That's, once again, the Continental Cups.
Should be super fun. Both Kalamazoo is a great place. I've been to a couple of tournaments there. It's a fun place to be, as is Lincoln. So I'm sure Birmingham is as well, but unfortunately I don't get over there very often.
And remind me, Tober, where are you coming out of today?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
That's right. Thank you so much for making your journey. I'm so lucky. I'm coming out of my bed early in the morning and rolling myself down here in about 10 minutes.
That's so much cheaper than what I did.
Yeah, I was going to remind everyone, we are so appreciative of people paying to come and watch us with the streaming. And I just want to remind everyone that every person you see here came on their own accord, 100% volunteer Derby, and anybody in Derby knows that. But anybody outside of Derby may need to be reminded that the skaters foot their own bill for their flights, the announcers pay for their hotel, and so we love our Derby community. We host lots of folks. We always make sure someone has a place to stay, and the Big O has become quite a thing. 8 years and running.
Yeah, this is one of the most fun tournaments I've ever been to. It's great. We have 52 games, including the MVP games.
Yeah, we can talk about some of the games from yesterday briefly. I have a couple of the scores, but you know what? We're back on the track. That's Mad Max going up against number 25.
Nacho Tape Boy.
Nacho Tape Boy at all.
You know when Mad Max is on the track because he does that stomp before he jams? So Nacho Tape Boy's got a lead jammer for the Mayhem.
And Nacho Tape Boy, quite a jammer. These teams all having played earlier this tournament.
Yeah, the Brawlers played twice yesterday.
Yeah, and I watched California Mayhem and talked about them earlier. So 2 games in one day, that's kind of a tough thing, but these teams are really pulling it off. California Mayhem going up against Emerald City, taking the win yesterday in the evening. And it looks like Cherry played up against Mob City yesterday and had a loss. So Cherry's definitely going to have to step up for Mayhem, who are a very strong team.
Yeah, Cherry did win one in the morning, that morning game yesterday. And they lost in the afternoon.
Emerald did lose to Cherry. That's right. It's been a long weekend already, but on the current game. Number 244 out there doing some work for the Cherry. That's Tribal Terror. 5 points on the boards. Grand slam for Tribal Terror. Sakajakilia still in the pack and looking for some help from the offense. Oh, one to beat, but has to get around that hard hit. 5 more in the sky for Cherry.
Tribal Terror is one of the heavy lifting jammers for Cherry. As you can see here, 15 points.
Heavy lifting, like lifting other skaters off and just moving them forward?
No, heavy lifting like jams a lot.
Jams a lot, gotcha. Oh, we've seen a lot of rotations on these rosters of such jammers, so I'll be getting to know Tribal Terror. This is my first time seeing Cherry play this weekend. I have enjoyed watching Mayhem. That's Mad Max in the black, number 280, up against number 717 of Cherry. That's Eminem. Ooh, pivot line start, Tober. That's exciting.
I know, the kids these days remember the pivot line. I saw a false start penalty yesterday in the Cherry Mob City game.
Oh, wow.
Somebody put their toe stop on the pivot line. It was a delight.
Oh, you used to have to have your toe stop on the pivot line.
I know.
All right, Cherry City taking the lead jammer status. Eminem making some fast work of that track. And Mad Max still stuck in the pack. Eminem trying to get by on the outside, gets in a tumble, goes down, and looking to see if there's a penalty. And yes, Mad Max has decided, I don't have to go all the way around the track. Make fast work to the penalty box and have a seat. Looks like we're going to have a jammer swap.
It's going to be a 2-minute jam, no more lead involved. It was a forearm, like you said, called on Eminem.
Mad Max wanting to put some points on the board to meet up to Cherry City's 20 points in the lead at this point. But Cherry City's Jammer back on the track like a lightning bolt. That's M&M. 5 points. That was amazing.
It's a back block now for Mad Max. Headed back to the penalty box.
Mayhem showing a little bit of distress right off the bat, and I think Cherry is to the delight of the team, and of course M&M. 5-point grand slam. Let's see if they can do it again. Oh, goes down, and a Mayhem blocker falling right over the top of him. So it looks like it's going to be a penalty on Cherry City's Jammer.
Yeah, we're going to have another Jammer swap in the same jam. M&M is going to sit down. Based on about how long Mad Max was in the box, it's 100% that M&M will end this jam in the box.
All right, and you are correct. Very good time watching abilities there.
There was 9 seconds left when she sat down. So.
All right, well, I hope you are enjoying this live stream of the Big O 2018. Our social media team is working feverishly all weekend to bring you live tweets and Facebook coverage throughout the weekend. So please, if you are at home petting a cat or a dog or a bird or enjoying yourself watching the Big O, take a picture. Hashtag Big O 2018.
Please show me your snacks and your cats. I like cats and snacks.
Since it's JRDA tournament, whenever we have a lead change, I suggest petting a cat.
Oh, just have a snack.
Yes.
Give your cat a snack. Give yourself a snack.
Well, cat's gaining 3 pounds over the weekend.
That's fine. Snacks. Roller derby and snacks.
I will say, Tober, I've been on a lot of adult games as well, and the junior games have been very exciting. They have been close. They have been hard fought, and I'm really finding my love for the JRDA and really excited to see these skaters. So today we have number 25 out there on the track. Oh, Nacho Tape Boy going down hard.
That fall saved the day for Nacho Tape Boy because he had half a skate out of bounds and was about to skate off when he fell over.
And he made it clean out as your lead jammer. And now M&M out of the penalty box through their initial pass and looking to score. But we'll see if track awareness is good for Tape Boy because, yes, it is. They calling the jam right at the second. M&M could not score any points. So 0-0 on that last jam.
Score is 32 for the Brawlers, 7 for the Mayhem with 23 minutes and 23 seconds left so far in this game, in this half. I didn't take a whole half away.
We're just getting started. That's Mad Max on the line in the red going up against number 5-9. There's that stomp we talked about. But 5-9 in the red, Queen Relentless, who had jammed a lot this morning. Oh, Quinn getting through with those pink socks, bringing heat and fire to the wheels.
Those are pink tie-dye. I like those socks.
Mad Max getting through as well. Now scoring points. We're going to see, falls into the back of number 16, Cherry City's Tycho the Psycho.
Mad Max able to pick up 3 points, 1 for Queen Relentless. So it's a 2-point gain on the differential for the Brawlers. 35 for them, 8 for the Mayhem, and about 22 minutes left in the half.
I'm thinking this is looking like a good game. That's number 18 in the black. Kaylor Swift going up against number 244, Tribal Terror. Tribal Terror out ahead of Kaylor Swift. Lead jammer, Cherry Bomb Brawlers. And with some very demonstrative call-offs, 2 points on the board for the team in red. None for Mayhem at this moment. Well, if Cherry can hold on to this lead, and of course they want to, this is going to be a great game.
Yeah, so far, pretty close, 37 for the Brawlers, 8
Well,
for Mayhem.
California Mayhem ranked 7th in the JRDA current rankings, and Cherry City's ranked 23rd.
Cherry City's here to shake it up this weekend.
Yeah, if they can keep this point differential, we're looking at some good games. But right now, Mayhem, just as we speak, getting lead jammer. That is Mad Max going up against Mad Max. A battle of the Maxes.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting all 9 minutes.
11 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. 11 minutes.
Ever since we read the rosters and knew we'd be in big trouble.
4 points now for the Mayhem, bringing them up to 12. Brawlers at 37.
We're going to have to call him Black Mad Max and Orange Mad Max.
Mad Maxes all around.
All right, Tribal Terror in the red going up against Nacho Tape Boy in the black. With that infamous pivot line start.
We want to see all of your shining faces, all of your big hits, all your friends. And we just had pivot line.
And up the inside, Cherry City once again getting that lead. So important. Tribal Terror trying to really keep up the speed as the pack slows down, tries to prepare themselves for impact. Oh, did they make it? And the ref says yes. We'll see what the ref says. Because they have not signaled if points. Yes, 4 points. That was a great jam for Tribal Terror.
Yeah, another pivot line start here.
Stomp, stomp. Goes
There's
Mad
Max.
And number 59, that is Queen Relentless.
Mad Max finding a hole on the outside, able to push past the A train and pick up lead for Cherry.
Oh, a tough hit on the jammer for Mayhem. That was by number 18, Global Storming. I think those hips probably hurt. That definitely stopped Queen in their track, but again hit out to the outside by number 18, Global Storming. Oh, and an attempted jump. We'll see. They're going to reset to be safe, Mad Max. Some smart jamming.
Yeah, that's a good call there because that skate landed about half in and half out of bounds.
You can't always tell by the tape and the rope. All right, calling it off from the outside. That brings our jam to an end. 5 points on the board for Cherry. 8 points on the board for Cherry. Not any for California Mayhem. 49-12. We have 18 minutes to go and some change. And we are starting with a deficit as 2 of Mayhem's skaters will begin in the penalty box. And we only have 2 blockers out there for Cherry, so looks like an even Steven 2-on-2.
A teeny tiny pack. Not the smallest pack, but a teeny tiny pack. That's lead for the Brawlers. It's Tribal Terror.
And Tape Boy out there, out of the pack. Oh, calling it from the ground. Any points? Not right now. Slippery track out there today.
Skate at the edge of your speed. You can slide out a little bit.
Well, this is true to my heart. We did say hashtag Big O, but we specifically really do want to see your cats and dogs. So please hashtag Big O Cats and hashtag Big O Dogs. We love to see our furry fans. And I know we have a couple of service animals in the building today that have been very well behaved. Speaking of on the track, who's being well behaved? Looks like Mayhem's jammer is being well behaved. Number 18 is your lead up there. That's Kaylor Swift.
First lead for Kaylor Swift.
Poison Ivy out there, finally relieved from blocker duty and can be free to jam.
2 points for Mayhem, holding the Brawlers to 0. 14 now for the Mayhem up against 49 for the Brawlers. 16 minutes left in the half.
Plenty of time to have a couple of lead changes. Mad Max in the black going up against Tribal Terror in the red for Cherry. And a little bit of a strung out pack. It looks like a couple of groups of 2-on-2. It didn't seem very successful as both jammers immediately out of the pack. Mayhem in the front, but Cherry with lead. Cherry's going to call that.
That'll be a 0-0 jam. Gonna reset and start over again.
Score right now, if I can reverse numbers appropriately, because I have to look at the score.
And that's Eminem, number 717 for Cherry City, going up against, well,
Queen Relentless.
Queen in the tie-dye socks.
While I have you here, let me also give a shout out to our officials.
Both looking very well matched jammer-wise.
Red and Chewy, backdrop, gimmicky, and doesn't matter.
Queen up to the top, it takes a tough fall, and to the outside, getting by, but incurring a cut track as they stepped out. It looks like Cherry City's jammer going to sit 30 seconds, and Mayhem's working to get their jammer out of the pack, but denied by number 18. Stepped out themselves. That's Global Storming. Oh, and again, Global Storming catching the jammer, doing a really good job at the back of the pack, and hopefully staying in bounds and play.
Global Storming jammed a bit yesterday when Tribal Terror had to take a break from the game, but otherwise was one of the most impactful blockers on the Brawlers roster.
Well, Mad Hatter out of Cherry City blocking and giving some trouble there for Queen Winless. And Queen getting through, looking for some more points. Looking for some help from the offense of Mayhem. Calling it as 1 point on the board for the team in black. 0 points, Cherry City. This is just what Mayhem needs to close up that gap. Even if it's 1 point a jam, it's still none for the opponent.
It's going to make the score at 14 minutes 49 for the Brawlers, 15 for the Mayhem. And we've got a matchup now of Tribal Terror and Kaylor Swift.
Terror right up the outside. Oh, as one of Mayhem's blockers goes down, he gets lead jammer for the Cherry City Brawlers, excuse me. And nice footwork on the inside. Stays in bounds, gets 4 points. Hit it and quit it. Speaking of hit it, you can hit this. Derby gear has everything you need to get rolling. Hit this, from skates to protective gear, unmatched service for all your derby needs. So before you hit the track, hit this. I definitely put in all my raffle tickets to win the outdoor skates and toe stops. I want them.
Do you like to skate outside?
I want them now. Yes, I do. And I've learned you better wear your gear.
No, you absolutely better wear your gear.
Number 25 in the black. That is Nacho Tape Boy going up against Mad Max in the Cherry City as your lead. Everybody's going down on turn 2. Everybody's back up, and it looks like Mayhem's lost one of their blockers to the penalty box as a hip scop. Ooh, is it in bounds? It is. 5 points, grabbing that jammer point. Mad Max. I wonder if these skaters have watched that movie.
Oh, I'm sure they have. Well,
Not
you
the
know
new
what?
one. Not the new
That's
one.
the one they've seen.
Yeah,
Come on
exactly.
now. Although maybe they've watched Road Warrior.
Oh, yeah, possibly. They've seen a scene or two. Number 25 of the outside. One to beat, and that's Social Storming with the last line of defense. Mad Max out and followed closely behind Nacho Tape Boy, and that puts 14 points on the board for Cherry, and we'll see any Mayhem points there coming up.
It's going to be 67 for the Brawlers, 15 for Mayhem. And I think they've seen them because, remember, their parents get to show them things. And their parents are probably like my age.
That's right. So Tribal Terror in the red, number 244 against Kaylor Swift in the black for Mayhem. Oh, as one skater just in time stepping off from Mayhem's bench and a skater returning from the penalty box. We now have a full suite of 5-on-5. Oh, and some tough falls at that turn, and Cherry City doing such a great job of getting lead. I mean, I'm really, really impressed. And Tribal Terror making a fast pack, but unfortunately we do have a skater down. we're going to just wait a moment here.
Get the wonderful EMTs over. We've had such a great crew this weekend.
That's Harmony Medic providing remarkable, exceptional care to all of the skaters. Ooh, that was a tough fall, and we're really happy to see Mayhem's pivot being able to skate off the track.
We know that derby's a full contact sport and sometimes accidents happen.
That's probably the gasping moment for any parent, any fan in the stands, anybody.
Well, when you're playing a full contact sport, you know, injury is something that can happen, and when you're playing multiple games in one day, or
It's definitely going to start being an issue come Sunday's games. So
tournaments
and even
are rough.
today. Yeah.
I mean, tournaments are rough for adults who've been training for 10, 15 years, and some of these players were in elementary school 10 years ago and weren't alive 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
But you know, the thing about this generation of derby skaters, they have grown with the sport. They know nothing else. And so it's just amazing to see the talent. And I joke that I retired at a great time because all of my fellow skaters' children are coming into the adult leagues, and they're on the travel team, and they're kicking butt.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad not to be out there getting knocked over by the youth.
my 18-year-olds.
But, you know, we lose them to college eventually, so, you know.
Wow.
We'll see.
You can play sports in college.
I would love to see some professional derby scholarships out there. And we do have some colleges taking up derby teams, so that's growing sport. We're seeing a lot of wonderful camaraderie between the teams, high fives, people saying hello, something you like to see when this level of competition comes around.
Yeah, you see a lot of that in the JRDA too, because often these teams can play in isolation. There's not as many juniors leagues as there are adult leagues, for a number of reasons. You know, lack of space, lack of trainers. There's less of a population of people in that age group than there is in the age group of 18 to 80.
Yes.
So
right
yeah.
now we're waiting for some official discussion. We have an official review being discussed with the head ref, Mike Hammer, and the two captains and coaches from both the respective teams. Just to give you an idea of what happened yesterday on the track, California Mayhem lost to Mob City 343 to 95. Cherry won over Emerald 205 to 187. Then later on the day, Mayhem played Emerald, and that was a win. So, you know, these teams are pretty much even out. So it's anybody's game. Mob City on Friday also took the loss to Cherry. So we're definitely seeing a couple wins, couple losses, and Cherry City looking really good. I'm very impressed with this team coming out of, where was it again? Cherry City out of Spokane, Washington. That's right.
There are a lot of cherries in Spokane, Washington.
I don't know, but we do have a Cherry City locally, so that's why it always throws me off, because we do have a Cherry City roller derby here in Oregon, and that's about 40 minutes away from our city, so they come down and play us all the time. So this is a Cherry City out of Spokane, Washington. They did not participate in the JRDA championships that Mayhem were playing in at the time, but Mayhem did place first in the 2015 JRDA championships, and that's who you're seeing right now with a score 15 up against Cherry.
Yeah.
Right now we have the official review, so we're going to listen in.
Reviewing the last couple of jams worth of gameplay, the energy level and safety level has been a concern. A warning was issued to both teams to stay in control and in balance when making hits.
Wow, I don't think I've seen that. It's basically an official warning saying things are getting a little out of control.
I've heard it in some chippy games, and I think that one of the best parts and maybe scariest parts of the JRDA is that skaters are excited and they're energetic and they're committed, but maybe don't necessarily know yet the fear
Their
of
limits.
the ground.
Well, and also their limits,
Yeah.
because these skaters may not have participated in tournament levels play, and that's when the bench coach is such a tremendous tool
Yes.
in making sure your skaters are safe, making sure that you're not playing the same person who's starting to get penalties, starting to look fatigued. Right now, Kaylor Swift not looking fatigued at all, ready for some gameplay. takes a tough tumble right back up the inside, decides no pass, no penalty on that last one, and is out of the pack. We do not have Kaler is the lead, excuse me, and 1974 on Cherry. That's Jaws of Death, not the lead. This is a big opportunity for California Mayhem, and no points earned, but a pretty hard jam.
Yeah, that was 69 now for the Brawlers, 15 for the Mayhem. And the jam, though, looked a little bit more in control, right? It looked a little bit calmer.
It did.
So the warning seemed to have worked.
Yeah. All right, that's what we like to see. A little high five on the track from Tribal Terror going up against Queen.
And we're just doing a quick stop so that the scoreboard can be properly updated.
And everybody having a party at the pivot line. We have a little bit of an adjustment of our scoreboard. Is that what's happening, Tober?
Yeah, they put the points up, so it was
Oh, yeah, I
4
thought there were
points in the
points.
last one for Mayhem. It's 19 and then 69
good.
for the Brawlers. It looked like they weren't registering on the scoreboard, so they took a break to fix it. We were having some issues with the scoreboard yesterday, too, around this time, so I think this is just the time that the scoreboard gets
Oh, it's the
frisky.
2:30
Yeah.
tired.
It gets tired. It's 2:30. It's like, I'm done.
All right, your lead is Cherry City. That's Tribal Terror. Meanwhile, Mayhem out the outside has to recycle behind number 989 from Cherry, Vicious Vanna. Vanna just getting some on Mayhem's jammer there.
It's going to be 5 points for Tribal Terror. Just got through. Packing's going to be another 5. That's 10 total for
That's
Tribal
right.
Terror.
That's a hard lineup of Global Storming and Vicious Vanna to have to get by, and making quick work of the pack. Cherry City 5 points, picking up that jammer point. I was saying earlier, I think for a jammer, the jammer point is the tastiest point, don't you?
It's like, not only did I skate faster than you, but I skated so much faster than you that you're a point now.
Nobody wants to be a point,
No.
especially not a jammer.
The blockers spend like so much time as points, and jammers do not spend so much time as points.
They really take it to heart.
Yeah.
And it looks like we have possibly a successful Starbust. Did that happen to Rosilla for Mayhem? That's Rosilla in the black, but unable to score any points as Cherry City's jammer was well aware of that situation and called the jam with 4 points. That was a 24-point jam if the scoreboard is correct.
Yeah, I think it is.
That's a pretty big jam for Cherry City. I mean,
That's another big jam by Tribal Terror. We've seen a few of those today. 93 for the Brawlers, now 19 for the Mayhem. And that happened yesterday, too. I find that teams, when Mad Max plays the team, they notice the stomping, and then they start doing it back.
yeah.
It happened
that
with the
was
Mob City yesterday. It just happened with the Mayhem
13,
today.
Relentless off Mayhem, stomping back. And was it enough? Yeah, Mayhem's jammer, the lead jammer out there. That's Kaler Swift putting a little jammer defense, deciding, I'm going to have to just stop you. Oh, and a nice hop up the outside. Do we get points? We do. I don't know. Wait, that was a skater holding a hand up. We have 1 point for Cherry. We have to confirm.
Checking on the outside to see the points. Oh, 2 points now for Cherry.
2 points for Cherry. And there's some discussion. No points awarded for Mayhem on that last jam, but a giant jump on the outside. I couldn't see from this angle what happened, but I like the effort.
I'm going to take an educated guess that if they scored no points there, that they did not land.
Bounds, yeah.
Yeah, they did not land upright in bounds. And because they didn't stand back up again, they didn't incur the cut.
Oh, man. Quick work by Tribal Terror. Now lead for Cherry Brawlers in the red. And we have a few players in the penalty box. 5 points in the sky for Cherry City Brawlers. Oh, a beautiful, beautiful edge work and control by Tribal Terror on that inside. Very impressed with this jammer today for Cherry. And out again in the mix is number 18, Kaler Swift. One to beat, up the inside, steps 1 foot out, has to reset. But decides, instead, a no pass, no penalty. I'm not going behind those folks. A smart play by Kaler Swift.
Yeah.
I see so many times jammers, it's the line of caution. Either you bite the point or you recycle back so far that now you are just doomed.
I
And
know.
so the smart jammer knows when. They don't always look to the bench coach for that one. They really have to make that split-second decision.
Yeah, and as long as you're 100% sure that other person went out or went down and no one else gated back, and you're not risking the cut, then it often is the right decision because the amount of time you lose.
And energy skating from the outside of the track. People don't realize it is quite a bit more distance to be skating on the very outside of that track to recycle back behind. So anyhow, Kaylor Swift at the inside with 1 to beat. Gets knocked to the inside. Let's see what happens. He's recycling behind Global Storming. And Cherry City's pushing through the inside and out for 5 more points, getting that yummy, yummy jammer point.
Paddle in the box is emptying out a little bit for Cherry.
That may have been why that jam kept going.
Yeah.
Or the 28 points on the board there for Cherry.
Another huge jam for Tribal Terror. 123 points for the Brawlers, 27 for Mayhem. So they're really putting some distance between them and Mayhem. Yesterday, they were in the lead, and then they didn't put enough distance because Mob City was over to overtake them and beat them pretty handily in the end. So
That's right.
they did have some injury issues in the second half of that game yesterday. And so maybe they're trying to future-proof themselves a little bit here.
Right now we have the red Mad Max up against Queen Relentless. Queen has an opportunity here to get the lead, and they do, but has to get recycled back behind the pivot of Cherry, and those blockers working together well, getting Cherry's Mad Max jammer out of the box. Queen is hopefully paying attention, and yes, bench coach saying, let's not risk it, call it right now. We do not want to allow Mad Max back in that party.
I'll make it a 0-0 jam. We have 4 minutes about left in this half.
I was just going to bring up that scoreboard, just reviewing some of those games from earlier. It's been a whirlwind weekend already. Both these teams playing twice, and today earlier. So right now we have number 15, the King Wolf in red, and Maddie Hatter, both new jammer lineups for each team.
We have a Mad Hatter on one team, a Maddie Hatter on the other.
Yes.
Mad Max on both teams.
Well, this is a Madly Hatter.
Yeah, this is a post Two Evils world we live in.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it just
I
made you
can't
feel
keep it
old, didn't
right.
I?
This is 106, Maddie Hatter, coming out of California Mayhem, looking for points and getting them.
Maddie Hatter found a line straight through that pack. 5 points for Mayhem.
Mayhem needing all of the points right now, preferably quickly, and Maddie Hatter going down a little tough, but a penalty, a high block being called on number 22 of Cherry City, and Maddie Hatter out of that pack with 5 in the sky. What a great, great jam for Maddie Hatter. First time I've seen her today.
We're seeing some confusion on the track right now. Free King Wolf giving the star to the pivot, but then getting sent to the box for an illegal star pass. So Tycho the Psycho was holding onto the star, not sure what to do, keeps skating out of bounds, thinking that they can't stay on the track, but they can. Tycho can put the star down and leave it for Free King when they come back from the box, or hold on to it until Free King gets back from the box. But remember,
give it back.
Free King can't score or complete their initial pass without the star.
Well, let's see if they know what to do now. As freaking number 15 trying to get to their pivot and give me my helmet cover back. And they do.
Yep,
They
there
know
we
what
go.
to do. And stashing it, carrying it through the pack. These are the wonderful details we get to tell you at home that we never get to tell you in the house calls.
Yeah.
We can't give away the star stash, but right now Mayhem's jammer out, getting that jammer point. You can stash it, but you can't hide your point forever. And back to Psycho, number 16. So the stash, it was a stash, a dash, and a trade-off. It's a true star pass now.
They took another go at it, and they got it right this time.
Psycho the Psycho playing it safe, recycles back behind, and right now Mayhem's out for 5. But Psycho the Psycho getting 2 points on the board for Cherry. That's a great little jump for Mayhem, 125 to 51. We have less than a minute and a half to go at the end of this period. This is possibly and probably our last jam.
Yeah, it must feel good for Mayhem after struggling this entire half before they get to go in the locker room and have a conversation, at least get some points, get some success under their belt. I love that momentum going into the locker room in half is so important.
And maybe they came into the game with some expectations that they have been met with different evidence. They may have come in thinking we're ranked better than Cherry, we're going to just smooth sail through this game, and they found a pretty good fight. Right now we have the referees having a discussion while we have an official review.
This is the Brawlers official review they're using for their first half. Of course, there's only a minute and 49 seconds left in the first half, so.
That's right. The Big O brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. The Solaris, the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing. I'd love to get a hold of those and see what they feel like. Rydell Solaris. Right now, number 244 in the red up against Kaylor Swift, number 18 in the black. That's Tribal Terror. We know him well, but right now to the penalty box with you. And a huge opportunity here for Mayhem. Let's see if Kaylor Swift can make some points happen. And jumping through, and as the blocker pivot goes to the penalty box for Cherry, not as many folks out there to have to get by.
As Global Storming was a very effective blocker, but also has a penalty problem. Yesterday fouled out of their game.
That pack spread out pretty quick, and that was a wonderful use of holding back one of Cherry City's blockers. Some great defense from the Mayhem's blockers to get their jammer through. Take opportunity here. Oh, calling it, but let's see if any points were earned. No, that was no points for Cherry on that last one, although the jammer did get freed from the penalty box. 5 points for Mayhem. We have 44 seconds to go. Plenty of time for everybody to get out on the track and have one more jam.
Scoring right now is 125 for the Brawlers, 58 for the Mayhem.
And in the past, Mayhem won versus Cherry in their last mix-up. And right now, Mayhem is going to have to really push as Queen goes out there up against number 007 in the red. Mad Max right on Queen's tail, or I should say wheels.
People don't have tails.
But Queen's got some pretty fast skates. And Relentless, with a tough tumble into the back and allows a jump, but a cut being incurred on Cherry City's jammer. Queen gets taken to the outside, and that looks like a legal hit by number 18, Global Storming. And Queen getting mixed up with Global Storming. It looks like one of Mayhem's blockers trying to take care of Storming, get him out the way. Queen finally out for 5 points. Or 4 points, excuse me, on that last jam. And it looks like Cherry doing a good job of keeping things moving fast. And now their jammer coming back into the pack. A cut track being issued, and we are going to have an attempted call off from the penalty box. Don't think that can happen. So the referee's going, you cannot do that. You may go to the box. You may not call it off.
It's a good thing they didn't call it off, because it's a penalty to call off the jam when you're no longer lead.
It's just like if you can trick the referee. Right?
Yeah, if you trick the referee, then you're in trouble. But if the referee is not tricked, you're fine.
I think the ref should join you in the box if that happens, just because they were the one
to send you to the box.
Yeah. Anyhow, I guess because any referee can start that whistle process.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good that if anyone does. Anyhow, back to the action at hand. We have 5 points on the board for Mad Max, and he's looking for some more. As Queen re-enters at the back of the pack, will they have enough time before Mad Max, gets a penalty? Playing a lot of jammer swap with 4 seconds to go here. Queen's going to finish it, and we'll see how many points they get to put towards that California Mayhem score differential. That's 4 points for Cherry. And on that last jam, 5 points for California Mayhem. And tentatively going into the halftime, 139 Cherry Bomb Brawlers, 67 California Mayhem. That's pretty surprising start, I will say. I really didn't expect this score.
Surprising indeed. I think that the last jam was super interesting because there was all that confusion around when you are not lead, if you lose lead.
That's
So,
right.
it was
That's
fun.
right. And I love the rules. I love that it's all about knowing the rules, playing by the rules. And in the heat of the moment, boy, it's hard to remember all that. But I'm Apple Bottoms Up, and I hope you are enjoying the Big O 2018 Saturday's game. This is California Mayhem in the black, Cherry Bomb Brawlers in the red. We're going to be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, go pet your cat, get some snacks,
Take
talk
some
over
photos.
Revolution.
Take some photos.
See you in about 10.
All right, friends, welcome back to the second half of this matchup between your team in black, the California Mayhem Roller Derby, against the team in red, the Cherry Bomb Brawlers. I'm Apple Bottoms Up, joined on the mic with my good friend Tober.
Hello. The score coming back from the halftime is 139 for the Brawlers, 67 for the Mayhem.
Well, this has been quite an interesting bout, as they all are, but we're seeing right now a power start from Mayhem with Kaylor Swift and the jammer for Cherry starting in the penalty box. That's going to be Mad Max.
We had a little bit of a jammer penalty pile up at the end of the first half, and it ended with Mad Max still in the box. So
Kaylor Swift with a jump and a hop, and is your lead jammer now able to score points as we have the jammer standing, Mad Max ready to re-enter for Cherry City. Kaylor Swift with 1 foot goes through, 1 to beat, and gets that score. 5 points, grabbing that jammer point.
both jammers now scoring eligible and out on the track.
And Kaylor picking up on that last one. We'll see if they award points. It looks like the referee's having a little bit of discussion over there at the turn. I always like to wait for the official 2-point signaling. There we go. That was 7 points total for California Mayhem. Just what they need. 0 points for Cherry. They need to close this point difference.
Jimmy now has Tribal Terror for the Brawlers up against Queen Relentless.
Ah, Relentless. She, skating in those tie-dye socks, is very relentless. Finally out, and looks like right on the heels. Oh, a little bit of a jammer on jammer, and some disagreement from Mayhem's bench coach over here. Kind of requesting a call, but none being given. So it looks like Cherry City's jammer is going to jump through, calling that jam, gaining 4 points. And I wouldn't be surprised if some discussion there. We'll see. Cherry, 8 points on that last jam.
Brings the score to 147 for the Brawlers, 74 for the Mayhem, 27 minutes.
I do like that the referee comes over to just briefly explain to the bench coach their perspective. They don't have to. They have no obligation to do so. But it does keep for a smoother game and some consistent ref calling. Right now on Mad Hatter in the red to the outside, getting knocked all the way, having to recycle behind 280 Mad Max, who is now blocking for Mayhem, and jamming for Mayhem, Kaylor Swift in the black.
Kaylor Swift getting knocked around by Global Storming, tracking Kaylor Swift up, bothering them in the back, bothering them in the front.
I would say that Global Storming is a follower and is gonna, well, for that endeavor, has incurred a cut track on Mayhem's blocker, or jammer, excuse me, and remains on the track. But yeah, I was just going to say, Global Storming kind of follows the jammer, stalking them through the whole pack.
Yeah, able to kind of see where that jammer is going to go and then just show up in the front.
But also doing a really fine job of offensive blocking right there, really taking down Mad Max, getting him away from their jammer, but unfortunately on this occurrence, getting a penalty. But I'm pretty impressed with Global Storming. He's been a very clean skater so far. First time I've seen them in the penalty box. Right now, Mad Hatter, your lead jammer, and now returning to the box, from the box to the track, is number 18, Mayhem's jammer, getting through, but now can score points. We'll see if there's some track awareness of that by Cherry City's jammer. Looking slightly fatigued. Mad Hatter did not notice that Kaylor Swift is entering. And as the lead jammer for Cherry, deciding to continue. Now they have the point advantage. but Kaylor Swift now out in front and earning 4 points. Makes you wonder if they're going to call it. Yes. 2 points for Cherry on that last jam.
4 points for Mayhem. 78 to 149.
Don't forget about that WFTDA Continental Cup. We have several dates, several cities. Wonder, are you going to try to get in on any of that, Tober?
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going
That
to Lincoln.
Kalamazoo or Lincoln?
I'm
Where?
definitely going to Lincoln. I might go to Kalamazoo.
Says
Or sorry,
Omaha.
Omaha, sorry.
Omaha, that's why it's throwing me off. All right, you're going
They're
to be
an
in
hour apart.
Omaha.
I'm mixing up all of my... Omaha's also a great place to go
Get
play
your
roller
hotel
derby.
in the right city.
Yeah, I mean, it's only an hour drive. I can commute from Lincoln to Omaha. It'll be fine.
Queen Relentless stuck in the back of the pack, taking some really tough hits. Meanwhile, Mad Max, your lead jammer for Cherry. Mad Max going to the outside. True to name, 5 points. A super good scoring pass for their Cherry City jammer. Relentless will be able to score points if Mad Max does not notice, and Mad Max getting the points and calling it. We'll see if Relentless got that jam point. No, did not.
It's going to be 4 more for Cherry. That's 9 for them total, bringing them to 158. And California Mayhem State at 78.
Not without a great effort by those skaters. Tribal Terror in the red going up against Maddie Hatter, 106 in the black. With some cheers from the crowd, a go Maddie. I can hear it through my headphones. All right, Maddie getting cheers from the bench as well, but Tribal Terror out of the pack. But looks like your lead jammer, Tribal Terror. An amazing sweep with that upper body and then sinks down low for the 5th point there. Grabbing that jammer point off of Maddie Hatter.
Maddie having some trouble getting around that Cherry defense. Anchored still by Global Storming.
Oh, Tribal Terror slowing down. I kind of had a moment of, are we going to slow down enough for the swallow? No. Just killing some time, knocking some jammers around out there. I do love a little jammer on jammer defense there. 10 points for that Tribal Terror run. Well, if you didn't make it out to the Big O, you didn't get to buy all the awesome stuff. I'm seeing everybody with their sequin purses, rubbing the sequins up and down. But if you'd like to check it out, you can check out our photos, the social media team working feverishly to bring you all the tweets and Facebook coverage throughout the event. We hope you're enjoying from home, and we just want you to know we appreciate that you have invested in the Big O tournament. All right, number 18 in the black. That's Kaylor Swift going up against Poison Ivy out there. And Ivy's still in the pack with the tan leggings on. That's all I can say. These colors are so close, it's hard to tell sometimes who's on what team. But Kaylor Swift out there, your lead jammer.
Poison Ivy's still stuck behind a tripod made by Mayhem.
Oh, a beautiful apex jump and 5 points for Kaylor Swift. I'm sure they will enjoy watching the archives of their games as we have this awesome production crew taking a historical video record for them to oogle for the rest of their lives. Of course, if you've ever been a skater watching your own footage, it's grueling. And a nice stop, but a clockwise block being issued to the blocker number 22. Going off to the penalty box. That is 3 blockers currently in the box for Cherry. A advantage here coming in for California Mayhem.
Looks like we're going to have an official review. I saw it be called by the Brawlers. I thought it was called by the Mayhem, but the scoreboard is indicating that it's the Brawlers, so I'll believe that.
pie for dinner last night?
Well, are you going to make it out to any after parties? I always have high hopes.
Maybe. Sunday night.
Sunday night for
I
sure.
go to bed nice and early during the tournament. I also call it the last game of the day, so.
Yeah. I'm trying so hard when I'm watching these games on the track that I'm not allowed to cheer. And my friends are like, you're not allowed to cheer. Because every year at the Big O, I lose my voice.
Oh, no, you should not. You talk for a quote-unquote living.
You cannot
You
cheer.
can't cheer.
I brought the cowbell and was quickly told, no cowbell.
No cowbell.
My derby
No.
wife looked at me like, that's not happening.
That's not okay. I just
The
nod
cowbell went
along.
back to the car, friends.
I nod along. I'm like,
That's
yeah.
right.
it's
Well,
a
I
good game.
did really enjoy last night's evening game. We saw some dancing on track one. We had our local DJ Bernard mixing up the beats. I know my favorite time of the Big O is Sunday night's MVP bouts. A lot of these juniors are going to be voted in to skate in the junior version of the All-Stars. They're going to be skating against Team USA Junior West, and several of the skaters on the teams that you're looking at right now are going to be already on Team USA, so they're going to be voting for MVPs. They'll have to kind of figure out how to make those two junior teams so that you can enjoy some really fine, high-level co-ed junior derby.
It was super fun.
I know, I love the MVP bouts because it's such an honor to be that skater because you're looked on by others that don't know you. They vote for you. You'd be a lot of people's first time being an MVP, and what an honor to skate in the Big O
review.
MVP.
About
And it's such a
Red 1-8's
fun-
cut. The cut call will stand, and they will not retain their official review.
All right, so Cherry City losing that official review, the stand call, and looks like they're going to start with 3 blockers in the penalty box. They do have a jammer fielded right now, Mad Max, and he's going to go up against the other Mad Max, a battle of the Mad Maxes.
Ooh, we haven't seen my backs in a little bit. Before the halftime, there was an injury call for them, and then it looks like they're back. So
the Mad Max in the red is the stomper. That's for Cherry. And the Mad Max in the black for Mayhem is your lead.
it's a cut being called on the Mad Max in the red, going to the penalty box for Cherry making a power jam.
That
For-
leaves Mad Max in the black for Mayhem. Sorry.
Yes.
And taking a tumble, having to recycle back behind Cherry City's blocker. And, oh, gosh, we're going to see if a penalty is incurred on that. That was a really tough fall. We still have 2 skaters down for Mayhem. I think the referees made a good call.
Yeah,
They
they're
are
calling this-
stopping the jam, and we're going to check on everyone. Some frustration showing as Mayhem exits the track and has still one of their skaters being tended to by our local EMT crew.
That was a hard hit. It looked like a back block. I didn't see what the call was, but it also wasn't clear if it was on a teammate or not. But considering that Mad Max went to the penalty box, I'm going to say that it probably wasn't, because if it was, it wouldn't have been a penalty.
But if there's some really unsafe gameplay, the referees do have the discretion to call a penalty, even if you hit your own skater, if it's in such an unsafe manner. So they're going to make a discussion and let us know what's going on as we tend to Mayhem's blocker. And I know that that was a tough hit. I don't know whether we're going to talk about safety, ejections. I mean, egregious hits, that's the term that they use if something happened that
Yeah, so considering
took
that
the
both
risk.
teams have already had a warning. We've had multiple
Yeah.
players take themselves out of the game. You see people with ace bandages with ice on. So
Yeah, it looks like they're going to tend to this blocker for Mayhem. I can't quite see. I want to say that's
it looks like Relentless.
23. I see a number 323. That's anaphylactic shock. So our thoughts are with anaphylactic shock, and that is the fear at this point in the game, you know, where you have 21 minutes in the second period. But these teams, again, having played 2 games yesterday, a game this morning, you know, injuries do start to become a factor, and the referees' jobs are to make sure everyone is safe. Whether it's your fault or not, I've been ejected from a game for an egregious penalty, and it was an accident, but you know what? You can't figure out who's at fault when you have an accident, and so for the safety of everyone, some things you just have to kind of bite it on and get called.
Yeah, even if it is an accident, the fact that you're at a point where that can happen. Sometimes it's sometimes
Yeah,
it's
not
really,
being
really
in
a freak
control.
accident.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks like
Yeah.
we're gonna see an expulsion here.
I do see Mad Max exiting the track area. Of course, we're going to confirm that. But I will assume if he is exiting the entire game area and removing his gear, he is out of the game. That is number 280, California Mayhem, losing a very key jammer. That means we'll only have one Mad Max to talk about, which will be now the Mad Max that remains on Cherry.
And it was, if you remember, there was a jam called for injury from Mad Max earlier. This was their first jam back since then. And that was the jam where after that we got the warning. So
yeah, they've been warned, and I again have not seen an official warning like that very often. So, you know, these skating referees and non-skating officials, I got to give it to them. They have keen eyes, and it's for everybody's safety. This is a tough sport.
Yeah.
But right now we are sitting at 21 minutes to go in the second period of California Mayhem at 89, Cherry Bomb Brawlers 168. We're still in an official timeout while we verify a probable expulsion of Mad Max.
there are lots and lots of people in the penalty box right now. There's 2 Cherry blockers and a Cherry jammer, and then the Mayhem jammer and a Mayhem blocker. Obviously, one of those jammers will be released upon the beginning of the next game, but it's quite a filling up of the box, and you see penalties and injuries when people are tired and when their emotions run high, and especially if Mayhem came into this with one expectation and had another result, it can lead to those emotions running high. I mean, you see that in all of
last time
roller
they
derby.
met, Cherry City lost to California Mayhem, so that's, you come in with those expectations, and and that's the thing about tournament gameplay. It's not the same roster, it's not the same team, you have to you have an idea of what a team is, and you have to adjust that. Right now, Cherry's idea is they're well ahead, and they want to hold on to that.
Yeah, especially considering that Mayhem is ranked above Mob City, and Cherry did lose to Mob City yesterday.
Yeah. It's been an interesting weekend. So much has happened. We hope you're paying attention. We'll try to get all those who won, who lost up there on our Big O website. Make sure you check us out.
Leaping contact and the level of recklessness in the action, the California Mayhem jammer has been expelled for the game, and we will continue with the substitute in the penalty box.
All right, that's Mike Hammer out there as our referee, giving us the verification that number 280 is out of the game for Mayhem. They will start one very powerful jammer down and see if they can hold on for the rest of this half.
So we have a expulsion and a foul. Orange number 18, Golden Stormy.
Of course, that always makes Cherry a smidge more excited, but they shouldn't be because they're starting with everyone in the box. They only have 2 people going out, and it's 2 blockers out there on the track. Number 13, Shifty, and number 16, Tycho the Psycho, going to pull the team for Cherry for a moment. And we're going to have to talk a little more because it looks like a timeout has been requested by the Mayhem bench, probably to maybe just kind of regroup for a moment, make sure everybody's head is in the game.
Yeah, especially considering Mayhem just had 2 people go out for injury and someone get expelled. So the feeling on the bench might be a little, morale might be a little low. And it's a good time to, as a coach, to pull everyone together and calm everyone down and keep everyone with a level head and playing safe.
That's right. We want to remind you, we'd love to see pictures of your Big O at home. Send us, if you don't have a cat or a dog, you can just hashtag Big O 2018, because we would love to see what you're up to, where you're at, what you're wearing. I mean, make sure it's PC. But hashtag Big O cats and Big O dogs. We love to see our furry friends, and the social media team hopes you're enjoying it from home. Let us know if there's anything you want to know. We've got all sorts of fun going on all sorts of tracks. And we hope you're enjoying this game Saturday up against Mayhem in the black and the Cherry City Bombers in the red. Did I tell you, Tober, that I put all my raffle tickets into one basket?
You did. You wanted outdoor roller skates.
I did. I want the wheels. The wheels.
The wheels and the toe stops. I
And
remember
the toe
now.
stops. Big gum toe stops and beautiful outdoor wheels. Oh, this game's back. Oh, my goodness. That's number 007. The remaining Mad Max of all the teams. It's a Cherry's Mad Max on the track getting out, but
Not
lead. So a no pass, no penalty, but you will not get lead. And as soon as Mayhem fields the jammer, they will have the opportunity to gain that status as soon as they successfully pass everyone. So we'll see. Now scoring points. Going to have to hustle it up, Cherry's jammer. And now the lead could call it immediately, but Mayhem may want to decide to stay in and get some points.
That's Seka Jakilia, who's lead for Mayhem.
Oh, Kilia killing it up the inside line and has to reset behind Psycho and Shifty. And that four wall led by number 14 in the red. That's Komakaze. And a little bump of the inside, not enough to stop Mad Max, and has to get past the pivot up there. Decides to do a little bit of star pass into number 989 in the red. That's Vicious Vanna. Now trying to get through with one to beat, stashing that jammer helmet cover and gets swallowed back up, and a penalty. Gonna go to the penalty box as the pivot, but retaining that jammer panty, now donning it. So as now the jammer sitting in the penalty box. Oh, a jump by.
Why?
I don't know. He just felt like jumping.
Felt like it.
But got a cut on that. Darn. Having to go into the penalty box. That's Seka Jakilia. I misspoke earlier.
All the jammer penalty switches again.
Swip swap. No pressure jammed ref timers. Number 989, Vicious Vanna getting out at the end of that jam. 4 points on the board for Cherry. But that was a pretty big jam for Mayhem. 15 points. They're going to start in the box, though. So maybe they'll continue the trend. 9 points for Cherry.
104 for them now, up against 107 for the Brawlers. So able to close 80
versus 104.
I said 170. Oh, I guess. Oh, well, that's a lot
you
more.
said 107. I'm like, oh, that's a big difference.
Oh, no, 170. But more points went up, so now it's
That's
180.
right. Yeah. All right, on the track right now in the red is Tribal Terror, and standing in the penalty box, Seka Jakilia. Kilia getting back on the track, has to make up some space, and out of the box for 5, out of the pack for 5 is the Terror. Oh, another penalty being issued to Seka Jakilia. This is going to be tough for Mayhem to recover from, as they have also lost a blocker or two. We have some injury to deal with right now at the end of turn 1, Mad Hatter.
Yeah, it looked like part of that low block fall was because Mad Hatter was a little bit unsteady on their feet and couldn't ever recover from the fall.
Maybe rolled an ankle, not sure. I know those can be some of the most crazy moments. I have some skaters that I've skated with who have the bendy ankles. You ever see that? Where their ankles just bend over sideways?
I have Ehlers-Danlos, so it's all of my joints.
Yeah.
It's
I've
horrifying.
seen people where things should have not been okay, and they seem to just be fine. Yeah, so let's hope that's the case for Mad Hatter, as our crews tend to them and the referees come in to the track to talk. Give a shout out to some of the other non-skating officials in this game today. Adam Smasher, Delilah Decider, Adam being on twice, which means he must be some official capacity. Karma Suture, Chemical Restraint, Hannah, Nitty, Tuck and Roll, Bola Constrictor, and Tenacious D Cup. Also skating officials we give a shout out to earlier. But we're really happy that we have so many volunteers. The announcers were saying, wait, what? All the games are covered?
Yeah, there's 52 games.
And do you know why the games are covered? because people love coming here. It's a fantastic tournament. And
It is, yeah.
It's such a pleasure to be a host and hostess, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, just think about when you have, 52 games with full ref crews, full announcer crews, full volunteer crews, EMT crews.
Film, video, everything. Yeah. So yeah, it's a big production. We're really happy to put it on. This is our 8th year running, and I will say for everyone who purchased a streaming pass this year, you are the reason there is a Big O 2018, and I am so hopeful a Big O 2019 because seriously, the production and the amount of volunteers, we had some attrition in our league. We weren't sure we were going to be able to have the numbers, and everybody showed up. Everybody's making this happen. Right now on the track, Tribal Terror, number 244, doing a little, not stomping, but stepping.
Getting excited.
Prepping. Oh, with a beautiful sweep, an offensive sweep. It was like they talked about it. They had a plan. His blockers moving everyone to the outside, stepped right through the inside to get lead, and is now putting in work for some points. Easy 5 in the sky. Right now, Sakajakilia trying to get out of the penalty box. This is the second jam starting in the penalty box standing, but I am sure as that jammer, they do not want to be in that penalty box at the end of this.
Getting out pretty quick for Sakajakilia.
Oh, a nice hip hit on the inside from Mayhem's blocker. That jam ended. That was Kaylor Swift blocking on the inside. Just absolutely stopped the jammer for Cherry. But I'm not sure, did that jam get called by the referees? Because we have some discussion right now. A cut track is going to be issued. I see one of the refs coming over to Cherry's bench to call off the jammer. Looks like jammer's going to sit, and Cherry will not field a jammer in this next moment because they have one in the penalty box. So Queen for Mayhem is out there again, getting a little push through from their blocker. Your lead jammer, Mayhem.
Lead jammer goes to Queen Relentless for the Mayhem.
Relentless on the outside and is through. A beautiful 5-point jam. Some passive offense as their team is holding back one of Cherry's blockers. And Terror up the inside, making quick work out of that box. Nobody saw them. They hopped right through it, causing Queen to call it. But Queen putting 5 points on the board for that last one, getting that jammer point, interestingly enough. And that brings California
10.
Mayhem.
It's going to be 10 total for the Mayhem, 114, 195 for the Brawlers. We've got about 15 minutes, so we're in the last quarter of the game.
That's doable, though. But given that Mayhem has lost one of their jammers to expulsion, we'll see if they can keep their head in the game, because this is definitely doable. We just need Cherry to stop scoring any points. We'll see how Mad Max feels about that. So right now,
Mad Max stomps. Everybody stomps back. We have an official timeout.
Yeah.
The bench staff from Mayhem comes running in again.
That's Senior Rich is how he would like to be pronounced today. And I know I've seen him playing. I want to say, I don't want to guess which MRDA team I've seen this bench coach play for, but I know I've seen him grace our Big O in the past. With a little discussion towards the blocker as well. Mayhem's bench coach really reiterating, hey, 15 minutes, let's keep it cool. Let's skate clean, because, 85 points is not impossible.
Oh, it's not insurmountable, not with 15 minutes left.
No. Well, I've said it once this weekend. I'll say it again. I've really enjoyed the JRDA champions. Actually, these not champions. Well, they're all champions.
They're all
to me.
champions, but this is.
But the Big O matchups, I think, have been some of the most interesting matchups that I've seen, and so much action. Just never
there's
dull
not a
moment.
whole lot of tournaments where you can play as a junior if it's not just a straight up juniors tournament. So it's great. They get to see all the other games. They get to play. They get to be a part of the whole experience.
And a huge jump by Nacho Tape Boy. He hit the jammer for Cherry right off the bat, jumped over the apex, got lead, has about a quarter of a lap on Cherry's jammer and really would love to start off strong, get through that wall. His blockers at the back of the pack and past the pivot, stays in bounds. Let's see, he is through. 4 points for Mayhem and now a power jam.
Yeah, that's going to be Mad Max out of the penalty box with a forearm.
Oh, didn't land it. Knew he didn't land it. Just let's start right over. He is Nacho Tape Boy.
That did not work.
All right, fans. I hope you're out there enjoying this as Mayhem getting 5 points on that last jump and losing one blocker to the penalty box. Now standing is Cherry City's jammer. Oh, a tough fall. I see Nacho Tape Boy taking a little bit of moment to get back up. Resets and jumps the apex once again. Getting all those box points. That's 5. Nacho Tape Boy.
Looks like Mad Max is back out of the box, taking a giant jump to complete that and complete a scoring pass. It's going to be 4 points. Remember, we got another 46 seconds left in this jam and nobody's lead. Oh, no, wait, Nacho Tape Boy's lead. Sorry.
That's right. And for Tape Boy, they have no choice but to continue. But I guess not. Maybe going to call it. Going to conserve some points as maybe Nacho Tape Boy looking a little bit like he jumped all those apexes. Did I jump it 4 times and get all the points? Yes, a 18-point jam for Nacho Tape Boy, number 25. California Mayhem, so doable, 132 to Cherry Bomb Brawlers 201. Tribal Terror in the red, going up against Queen Relentless in the black.
2 blockers in the box for the Mayhem, 1 for Cherry.
And taking a lot of time and successful to pull back the jammer, but decides I'm going to go for it anyways. Relentless getting lead for Mayhem, not having any of Tribal Terror's jammer play.
Both jammers right on top of each other as they head into the penalty box.
Cherry
Not
City,
penalty box, pack.
A cut track, or excuse me, a penalty. You can tell me
Misconduct.
what this one is.
It's a misconduct.
And if you don't know, some of the hand gestures for the referee signals have switched up, and so we're still taking a few moments to figure it out. Mike Hammer having some discussion with Senor Rich over what just happened for California Mayhem. The scoreboard showing only 3 points, and we'll see if any official discussion happens, but right now it's just kind of in between, and we do have an official timeout being called. Looks like Cherry calling that official timeout, as Cherry's coach is also out talking to a different set of refs, so maybe all the refs will get together and chit-chat. What would we do without ref discussion moments? I'm really impressed with our ref crews this weekend. They've kept it concise. They've kept it very clear. They've gotten on the microphone and told us what's happening.
They're also doing a good job of helping maintain the calmness in some of these games.
Yeah.
If games get super out of hand, making sure
Yes.
talking to coaches, talking to players, keeping things calm and safe, especially with some JRDA games. You know, you want to make sure that you keep everybody safe.
I'd say with every game, I've seen so much intensity in the women's game last night, in the men's game, and you know, everything's pretty much co-ed anyways at this point. So
Everybody got to keep everyone safe. And
that's right. Nacho Tape Boy again for California Mayhem up against Tribal Terror. This is a matchup of jammers. We'll see who's the lead. It's Mayhem. That's Nacho Tape Boy. I'd just like to see somebody ask him to tape the track just once.
just once,
What
I know.
would be his response? And up the inside, maybe the response would be, I will take all the points and the jammer point. This is a huge, huge jam with 61 points separating the teams. Cherry just now getting Tribal back on the track. Has to skate clean. I've seen a lot of penalties. Just a really forceful jammer and Tribal through on their initial pass. Tough hit and not surprisingly a penalty on that last one. Getting called off by the jam ref and going to have to sit in the penalty box for a few moments. That was a misconduct?
No, it was an out of position block. So I think it was probably a blocking out of bounds, but I couldn't 100% see. But basically, they made a block somewhere they weren't supposed to.
Gotcha. Maybe when they were out of bounds on the inside line. So 4 points on that last jam for Terror. Terror looking for some more points. Nom, nom, nom. Nothing like a power jam for Cherry. They want to regain their strength in this second period. 10 minutes, 50 some odd seconds to go. 5 in the sky for Cherry's Tribal Terror. This jam will go until the end with 25 seconds left in this jam clock. Terror picking up 5 more.
Multiplayer block called on number 329 Rosilla.
And 5 more going to Tribal Terror. This jam feeling like it's going forever with 1 second to go. And calling that 2 points going towards Mayhem. That was a 19-point jam for Cherry Bomb Brawlers, bringing your score 220 to 142. The Cherry Brawlers holding that lead.
Tribal Terror has had multiple double-digit jams in this game.
Oh boy, this game's so exciting. I knew it was going to happen. A team timeout being called by Mayhem, just as I'm just feeling antsy-pantsy over this. That's a good game when you get antsy.
Hit This Derby gear has everything you need to get rolling, from skates to protective gear and unmatched service for all your derby needs. Before you hit the track, hit this.
Yep, they're over in the vendor village. That's Elixir going to help you out. I know I've seen a lot of skates flying to pieces out there on the track, and we are not short of willing people to help. But, you know, when it comes right down to it, you don't want to be trying to, like, mix in a wrong part into your skates. It's dangerous, for one, and we have good skate technicians, and Elixir over there at Hit This Derby Gear in our vendor village will definitely help a skater out in need. But right now they are selling all the good stuff to keep you rolling over there at Hit This Derby vendor booth. We've got Mad Max 007 going up against, in the black for California, Mayhem, stomping.
Everybody's
stomping. That's Willa. Killa Willa, if you may. Going to the outside, number 8, Killa Willa, sets back behind Tycho the Psycho, along with their own blocker, Killer T, number 7. Willa up the inside gets tangled up, has to recycle themselves. And out of the pack is Mad Max, looking to his bench coach to check on things. They say, keep going. You got lead. Make it happen. Killa Willa still in the pack as Mad Max 1 foot on that inside. Yes, they knew it and recycled themselves legally back in. All right, Killa Willa just making sure that they got out legally. Did a little bit of a backward skate as if ready to go to the penalty box and gets out 0 points, but a great effort. First time seeing Killa Willa on the jam line.
That was fun with all that stomping. Everyone had a good jam.
Got real stompy, but in a good way. That's Queen out there again with Tribal Terror.
Got another pivot line start. I like starting out there. I guess it gives them a running start at the pack.
Well, it gives the jammers a chance to build up some speed. I don't know if that's an advantage or a disadvantage. It really depends on your jammer. If you got a heavier jammer that's going to build up speed and maybe get a back block, it could be a good strategy. But if you got a jumpy jammer like Terror, jumps to the outside, gets lead real quick. Didn't work out too swell for Mayhem on that last one. And he's through again. It's a 5-point jammer grand slam for Cherry. Oh, a tough hit out to the outside by number 16 on Cherry, recycling Mayhem's jammer. Queen, I don't know if Queen's gotten out yet. Have you seen Queen exit?
Definitely still on their initial pass.
Boy, that is frustrating for Mayhem's jammer, just showing a little bit of frustration. Ooh, a tough rolling hit to number 14 for Cherry. Kind of got mixed between two, sandwiched, if you will, between two of their own blockers. Queen finally out of that pack of doom.
Pack of doom. 15 points again for Tribal Terror
and
so far.
A huge jump on that last one, landing it with 5 points over the apex.
It's going to be up to 20 now.
This jam going on forever as Terror is racking it up now over the 20-point mark, all the way up to 25 points. One of the biggest jams today for the Cherry Bombers. And it's finally over. We have a couple skaters on the floor from Mayhem and Cherry. Let's just make sure everyone's okay. Boy, this is a tough game, Tober.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the EMTs come out so much today or in this tournament yet. It's not something I want to see, and I have a feeling the referees are going to start getting a little bit more stern about things.
Yeah, there's multiple games in one day. I really think that's what it is. Mayhem, this is their second game in the day. Yesterday, Cherry played 2 games in one day. Big weekends for these skaters, and I don't think they're used to having these kind of gauntlets that a tournament can be. And
you don't always have a huge roster. You don't always have 20 people coming to the game. Sometimes you have your 16 and 3 get hurt, and you have 12 or 11. And we have come to a point in years past where teams have had to pull out for safety, especially when we get down to those low teen. It's just too tight of a rotation. You're going out every other jam. There's no room for penalties, no room for rest, no room for injuries. So
yeah, I think part of it too with juniors is that you don't have the same mix of how many years people have been there, right? Your term in juniors is a little bit shorter usually. You're not there 8-9 years because you'd age out if you did. So when you have some of these adult teams that have been here, most of the team has been doing tournaments for 4 or 5 years, and then you have the newer people, and you can kind of help them get used to the pace of 5 games in 3 days. When half of your team has only been playing for 2 or 3 years, then you don't have that same kind of ability to kind of pepper people in and out, and it can cause a little exhaustion.
Well, and practicing extra days a week is not the same as having scrimmage or tournament level games. So that was 1974 Jaws of Death for Cherry, just slowly removing themselves from the track, making sure they're okay, maybe throw some ice on it. And we're going to continue on once we know. We've got 6 minutes, 54 seconds to go in this game. And we'll be back in just a few seconds as our officiating crews just finalize everything. And I think that skater is going to sit out. We're going to have number 007 in the red, Mad Max, going up against Killer K, number 7 in the black. It's a battle of the 007s. Killer K donning the jammer status for Mayhem as they go out the outside and they are released from the from the track, but a cut track penalty.
Yeah, just took a little bit of a step on the outside, picked up that cut. It's a danger you have when you start rotating people into your jammer rotation who aren't normally jammers.
Mad Max also getting knocked to the outside, has to recycle behind a nice hit by number 13. 13 on black. That would be Relentless. And Black's blockers, putting in some work. We'll see. I'm sure someone's going to the box for that one as both Widow goes down. Yep, that's right. Widow is going to spend a few seconds in the box for that one. And a jump over the apex, but it looks like catching the leg of number 18, Mayhem's blocker. Mayhem's blocker going to take the fault and head to the penalty box to start this next jam.
Made 2 blockers in the box for Mayhem. Only 4 points on that jam for the Brawlers, 254 for them, 145 for Mayhem. So it's over a 100-point game now. We got about 6 minutes left in the game.
Maddie Hatter in the black up against Tribal Terror in the red. Looks like we do have some official review happening for just a few seconds. They're going to come into the center of the track, have some discussion. Well, if you're joining us from out there in the world, let us know where you are watching from. Just hashtag BigO2018 and let us know what city, what state, what derby you are affiliated with, whether it's an adult league or a junior league. We're so happy to have all these teams flying in from all over the world. We have Victoria, we have Canadian teams, Australian teams, Team Mexico, and just the number of skaters from all over is remarkable as always. So welcoming to have everybody come to our tiny little town here in Eugene, Oregon.
It's not that tiny.
It's not that tiny. We are home of the Oregon Ducks, so we are definitely a sports town. We have Tracktown USA. We are a sport friendly. And, you know, the Big O tournament has won awards in the past. We've won awards for being one of the most sustainable sporting events in the country.
Oh, wow.
That's because at every part of our venue, you will find recycling, compost, and every bit of trash that goes into the trash is sorted prior to actually heading to a landfill. So we have a remarkable team of master recyclers here to make sure that everyone is encouraged to bring in water bottles. We have water supplies, water stations. So we actually don't even sell disposable water here. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty great.
That's right. We're a very green town. So, speaking of not green, we have super red and super black, and in the red, Tribal Terror, in the black, Maddie Hatter. Cherry City, lead jammer, Tribal Terror. I think I've said that a couple times today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Big jump, and lands it for 4, calls it. Let's do that again.
Going to be 2:58 up against 1:45 now. About 5 minutes left in this game.
Alrighty, friends. Mad Max once again in the red up against the Queen. Stomp, stomp goes Mad Max. Onto the toe stops goes Queen. I'd love to see Mayhem come out lead, but it looks like Cherry is just really dominating that lead status, and we all know that is key to controlling this game. Little frustration as Mayhem's jammer decides whether or not to recycle, is not the lead, decides to continue on. We have a penalty cut track being issued to Cherry City. This is the opportunity for Queen Relentless to get out, but 13 from Cherry knocks her to the inside. Relentless has to reset, try to get past Shifty once again. Shifty to the inside and tangle up with the skates. We're going to see who comes out off of that. Some discussion from the referees. Queen is back through. 5 points on the board for the team in black, California Mayhem.
Lots of players rejoining the track from the penalty box. One of whom is Mad Max. Giant jump on the apex, able to pick up 4 points on that. This is going to be a 2-minute jam. We got about 45 seconds left in that jam.
Relentless coming up against a very strong 4-wall, trying to split them off, but having no such luck as they have to recycle. And just the frustration you can see on Mayhem's jammer. Oh, are you kidding me? I have to go behind you, only to see that blocker gets called off to the penalty box. So again, that's that hard decision. You can't assume that they're getting called off. You have to recycle. But in doing so, Queen getting waterfalled back into Cherry's defense.
Queen able to break out now, picking up 4 points of their own. Going to bring them up to 14 on the jam, 8 on the jam for Mad Max, and still going for another 7 seconds.
Well, you know it's tiring just looking at them. I'm sure it's even harder to be them. But Queen, happy to hear those whistles and putting 4 more. That was a really big jam for Queen Relentless. 14 points for California Mayhem. 11 points for the, that was a 18-point jam for Mayhem. I thought it was more than that. 11 points for Cherry.
Score now 163 to 269 with 2 minutes and 26 seconds left. Cherry taking a team timeout. Good time to remind you that the Big O is brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. The performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing. Solaris.
That's right. I know if you're purchasing your stuff here, they'll heat mold for you. That's awesome. It's always nice to get them. I know plenty of skaters who've thrown their skates in the oven. And
Yeah.
It's a risky business. I bought a pair of Bonts and was able to have Bonnie from Bont actually heat mold them for me at RollerCon. It was quite the experience.
Much better than baking your own skates, probably.
Yeah, but I think I had tried to bake them already before that and just never felt comfortable putting skates in the oven. Don't put skates in the oven, children. Do not put your skates in the oven
If
or
you
the
do
microwave.
it correctly, you can put your skates in the oven, but don't put them in the microwave.
Well,
there's plates on them. There's plates on them. Don't put them in the microwave.
Yes, number 244, Tribal Terror. This could be our last final couple jams, at least one, probably two, up against Kilowilla in the black. Everybody's starting and hogging up the pivot line. Oh, and tumbling off the pivot line. Oh, Kilowilla almost got through, but number 20, nice hit off the line. Critical hit by Critical Hit. And that sneaks Kilowilla in, but she gets out finally with a grin. And sneaking up the outside, Cherry's Jammer for 4 points.
Kilowilla hitting the pack again, tries to take a jump to Science. Didn't work out and recycles.
And in that confusion, Mayhem's blockers opened up the lane for Cherry City's Tribal Terror.
Back block issued to Kilowilla, headed to the penalty box, making this a power jam for Tribal Terror. Is already up to 14 points on the jam.
Well, Tober, this has been a huge fight between these two teams. I mean, I never like to use the word fight, but definitely feels like there is nothing left on the track from either of these junior teams. Really showing some talent with 1 minute, 15 seconds to go. 5 points going on the board again for Tribal Terror of the Cherry Bomb Brawlers. Tribal with that hip hop up the inside, another 5 in the sky, and released from the penalty box is Kilowilla, who's going to re-enter at a certain point right alongside Cherry's Jammer. Snuck right through the outside on their initial pass, and the jam comes to its end. We do have time for one more jam.
46 seconds left. 293 for the Brawlers, 163 for the Mayhem. So the differential opened up quite a bit.
That's right. It was a really exciting start, and I'm really impressed by Cherry pulling this game through, and not having ranked for the JRDA tournament series does not mean they weren't equally amazing competitors. It just might have been an issue of they didn't have the funds to travel. Who knows? I don't know the history, but I am seeing Cherry really moving up. If they weren't on the rankings before the Big O, they're going to be there after the Big O.
Yeah, especially when you look at Tribal Terror, who didn't play for a lot of that game with Mob City yesterday. Not going to be a reason why they had a loss there, because that was just another 28-point jam put up by Tribal Terror. You had a couple of 19s and 14s and 15s, other ones in the 20s, so...
We have an injury on the track right now, Tober, so we're just going to give a few moments. We have an official timeout to tend to the skater down. Can't see who that is. I think it is a Mayhem skater, their team looking on. We have 2 seconds left on the time clock, but they may have some discussion about that. We'll see as we tend to yet another skater. I'm not pleased with how many folks are needing attention by our EMTs, but I'm so happy that we have them.
It's also good to see the skaters taking caution with their own bodies.
That's
calling
right.
over the EMTs, taking the time to ice, taking the time to wrap.
Taking the time to step out when that's really hard.
When I was 16, I once played a lacrosse game with a broken ankle because I just wrapped it up and put it back in my cleat.
Yeah, it's not cool nowadays to skate to death. That's number 7, Killa K, being escorted by our crew to the outside of the track. On wheels, upright and in tight, but probably done for this last jam.
That's 2 seconds
2
left.
seconds, I'm
so.
sure we can field some other folks. So I do think there's still time. I assume someone may call a team timeout, or I know there's time for us to all get back on the track, whether we have...
Looks like the head ref is going to come have a conversation about it.
So they are discussing the 2 seconds, whether to just call it, or I have a feeling California Mayhem, if given the choice, is going to be like, we're skating. I just knowing Senior Rich. What did he say?
timeout.
Timeout. That's the way to say we want to have one more jam. All right. Well, we hope that you're enjoying your experience streaming the live feed for the Big O. If not, and you have constructive criticism, please let us know. We want to make this an awesome experience for you folks at home. We want you to participate in any way that you can. Send us your photos. Hashtag Big O Dogs. Hashtag Big O Cats. Hashtag Big O 2018.
It's a very excited Mayhem. Ready for their last jam?
That's right. For being the underdog going into this last jam of the game, California Mayhem's cheering section on the bench of their own team is very excited, as is Cherry.
Not to be outdone.
Yeah,
Did
they're
their
kind of
own
like,
chance.
oh, did you think you were going to win? Well.
Well, no, we have a chance too.
Yeah, so the last jam, I will guess, is going to be fielding for Cherry 007 Mad Max against Queen Relentless.
Were they just mocking Mad Max, who did not yet stomp? They were. There we go. See?
It's kind of a thing.
It's a thing now. It's a thing now.
I saw a lot of juniors doing the floss dancing on the line. Oh, for the Mayhem in the final jam, it's Queen Relentless. She most likely is going to go the full 2 minutes if possible. Can they get 100 points? They got 4 of them.
You just like to end a game feeling good, even if you know you can't win. It's just nice to end the game feeling like you had fun.
That's right. And judging by the smile on Queen's face, I'm going to say they're having fun out there. Getting that jammer point always feels good. Mad Max having to go to the outside, getting stopped by the blocking team of the California Mayhem. Looks like a multiplayer block being called, and they're going to lose one blocker as Mad Max attempts an apex jump, has to reset all the way to the back, and some dancing by the California Mayhem blocking crew. See, if you're dancing on the last jam while you're blocking, you're definitely having a good time.
You're having fun.
Dance blocking. A hip hop and Queen Relentless, and I am Relentless. That's taking it up to 19 points so far. We got 38 seconds to go, friends. I hope you are enjoying watching the California Mayhem dominate this last jam of the game, but not before Tribal Terror stops all that business. And that was a tough hit from Tribal Terror, and Queen Relentless having to shake that last jam off a little. We're going to have a few seconds while we look at our unofficial score. The Cherry Bomb Brawlers, unofficial again, 301. California Mayhem 186. I really feel for Mayhem's jammer. I feel like I felt that hit from here. That was like a gut punch hit.
It's hard to get the wind. I look like it definitely would have knocked the wind out. When you're already like overworked and panting, and then someone knocks all the rest of the air out of your body. That's rough.
I see all these teammates coming over to check on Queen, make sure they're okay. Our final score now, friends, 301 to 186. A win for the Cherry Bomb Brawlers, coming out of Spokane, Washington, unranked in the JRDA championships. People are going to pay attention to them now.
I think so. It makes them 2-1 on the weekend. The only loss they've had so far was Mob City yesterday, and they played that game mostly without Tribal Terror, which, as we saw, was a huge factor today.
Well, I really appreciate you guys joining us on the live stream. We're going to be back on the mic. I'm heading over to track 1 right now to announce, and I got to get going. So I'm Apple Bottoms Up.
I'm October Revolution.
Keep it classy, Derby.